Good morning. Good afternoon. It's 1:28, almost, coming to you from Reading, Pennsylvania. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños a mi hijo, Martín Octavio Espinal Perez. My son Mark, not Junior. Get that out of the way, okay? I want to get that out of the way right away. Happy birthday to my son. What I want to talk to y'all about is something that uh, as you see today, I'm not going to be clean. I'm going to tell y'all some things now. The Wild Cowboys. You've heard of them? Are you familiar with the Wild Cowboys? Right? Crack cocaine in New York City, 1980s. The Wild Cowboys would be Lennon and Nelson. We don't use their last names for this. Lenny and Nelson. Um, I go way back with both of them. I'll say that we go back to, well, first of all, my family and Lenny and Nelson's family were very close. Their father, Roberto Sr., he used to have a repair shop, an electronics repair shop on 168th Street by Amsterdam Avenue. This is back in the late 60s. Besides that, my family and their father knew each other from our hometown in Dominican Republic. When they grew up, well, growing up, my oldest sister lived in this apartment, and the Wild Cowboys, Lenny and Nelson, and but essentially what I'm trying to tell you is I know Lenny 5, 6, 7 years old. They lived next door to my oldest sister. Their oldest brother, who is not part of the Wild Cowboys, thankfully, that's my boy. Their oldest brother, Lenny and Nelson, there's a younger brother, but those two were Nelson. Lenny is a morose, quiet guy who doesn't say much. Sort of like a loner kind of individual. Nelson, on the other hand, is buck wild. He likes to have fun. He likes to party. Lenny, he may do it, but he's a very reserved individual. I love these guys. I know people have all these stories about what they did, didn't do, or how they did it. Let me tell you something. The fact that these young men, and I know I'm older than they are, is that they achieved the level of notoriety. Cast it, if you dramatize it, if you write it in a certain way, it's John Dillinger, it's Baby Boy, Babyface Floyd, it's all these other characters that at some point or other in American history have been glorified. The Wild Cowboys were what they were. I won't make excuses for them. I don't think they want anyone to make excuses for them. But they blazed a trail. They put a city on notice. These young men from Washington Heights. Can I tell you one other tidbit? In 1987, I went back for the first time to Dominican Republic in October of 1987. I went back to Dominican Republic for the first time after having arrived in New York in September of 1968. I went back in 87, almost 20 years. My father passed. Papa se murió. That's when I went back for the first time to Dominican Republic. And who lived not directly across the street from my house, 2 stories. My mom's hooked up this joint, whatever. Yeah. But across the street, there's this alleyway. The house is here. There's a house right here in the corner. But then there's an entryway that takes you in. Not cars can go in, but motorcycles can go in. And in DR, there's a lot of motorcycle travel. Okay, people get on the back of motorcycles. We call it un concho. Concho. I don't know what it is, like a conch shell, I guess. You get on the back of a motorcycle, you form. But yeah, but that's where they lived. Who? Lenny and Nelson. They grew up next door to my sister. And in Dominican Republic, they lived across the street from me. I could see them from my house. And one day, that's all I'm gonna tell you. One story, true story. It was a Saturday. I come out first floor in the house, got my family with me. And I look outside and I see Nelson, Coco, Chloe. It's a few of them running around. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Okay. I see Nelson and he looks like Pancho Villa. He has a whole thing of bullets going this way, and another thing of bullets going this way, and he's got 2 guns. I'm like, yo, and I call him. Comes over. I'm inside my house. There's gates, iron, the iron thing. DR, you have to have it, because otherwise people break into your house. But anyway, so I'm talking to him. I said, yo, ¿qué lo que pasa, man? What's going on, dog? And he tells me he's celebrating his son's 5th birthday. He's got, how come you doing this? How come you walking around like that? And he tells me, yo, Popo, that's what they call me. They call me Popo. Oye, Popo, yo no puedo hacer esta vaina en Nueva York, pero aquí yo sí es verdad que voy a hacer Pancho Villa. So he told me, yo, in New York, I can't do this. But here, I'm going to be Pancho Villa. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, man. You can't really push these guys. You're like, oh, okay, está bien. He's younger than me. I mean, we got respect for each other. I even was able to get an answer from him. So what I do is I get dressed, man. I go out there and I find Coco. Coco is an older guy like me, light skinned Dominican, bunch of brothers and sisters. He lives in the Callejón. El Callejón is called El Callejón de los Condenados, where these guys grew up, their family lives. Even now, probably today, I would venture to say this. Now, even now, today, they live in that place. It's called El Callejón de los Condenados. Anselmo Copelo y Avenida Boy Scout, Santiago, República Dominicana. They grew up in the alleyway that was known as the alleyway of the condemned. The condemned. Yes, my neighborhood, man. I grew up with them guys. I have a lot of respect for them. Yeah, they did stuff. A lot of people do stuff that get noticed in this country. This is America. If the Kennedys had been a different story, they'd be just like my boys right here. If they had been the story in the opposite direction, they wouldn't be cast as some hooligans or hoodlums or whatnot. They'd be heroes. They'd be sheroes. Because the story is deeper than just 2 guys. I'm not forgiving them for their actions. I'm just reminding you that in this country, we tend to cast the actions of darker people, brown people, in a different light. And we give the fair skin a whole different treatment. Yeah, the wild cowboys were wild. They're my friends, man. Family. Most of those guys, yeah, I know them. I know them before they knew themselves. I'm older than them. They played in my basketball tournament, 169th Street in Audubon. They played in my tournament. I remember them before they were the Wild Cowboys. They were just kids, yo. I was a referee in football games that they were involved in. Lenny and Nelson. I'm not cool with Lenny. He ain't cool with me. But ask Nelson if we cool or not. Ask Robert, the oldest of them, and the younger brother. Even his moms, yo, was still alive. They dad passed. They my dogs, yo. We Dominican. We from the hood. What it is, man. I'm not excusing them for nothing. I tell you this. My brother was shot 3 times. Nelson just said, yo, don't worry about it. We're not going to the police, man. What y'all gonna do? My brother got shot 3 times. He had his testicles in his hands. Blood coming out of his mouth. Police, yeah, we got this. We got this. Street justice sometimes is rough justice. Wild Cowboys. At the end, they did what they had to do, man. They turned other people in. They try to save themselves. You know, uh, they're out there. They're back out in the streets. I lost my nephew was also my grand I was his godfather. We lost him to the wars between the DDPs and the Trinitarios. So growing up in Washington Heights, man, even at this late age, there are more stories you can tell. Yeah, we saw stuff. But the Wild Cowboys, yeah, they were wild. Yes, they were. I still love them. I still respect them. When you come from a small place in the world and you can exact vengeance, sometimes the way you do it, the methods you use, the tactics, the strategies, is what could be questioned. But the end results, at the end of the day, whom are we to judge the actions of others, especially when those others, especially when those others are too close to you for you to be able to make a fair judgment. I can't make a fair judgment when it comes to those young men. Money, greed, drugs, and women, and then murder to keep the power, the drugs, the women. And they were young. We were so young, they had no idea the damage they were doing to themselves, their families, and to our societies. Judge these young men. We'll leave it up to history. Thank you. Or to apologize. I ain't no better than them. I just didn't do what they did. But they stand for us and we stand for them. No one's perfect. But the Wild Cowboys of Washington Heights, if you were there, as I was, even before they were, we were. So they are a part of our history. Thank you for listening. Thank you.